quick video about this mosque shooting in New Zealand, and the reason why I'm doing this is because the son of a bitch referred to himself as a fascist. Fascism, especially Mussolini fascism, would not support such behaviors. But I also want to hit to a deeper thing. What the problem is that people have begun to idolize people like this dude and another guy named Dylan Roof. This becomes popular in this wild and wacky world of social media we live in today. And I want to get something straight. There was a New Zealand politician that was right, and what he stated was one of the problems is you can blame the left for bringing Islamic radicals into the West, okay? And the problem is, and I agree with this wholeheartedly, and I'm not pro-Islamic by any stretch of the imagination. Don't begin to think I'm pro-Islamic, but I'm not anti-Islamic either, and I'm going to point it out this way. In the West, we have had Muslims, okay, in the United States for centuries. But what it was is we used to screen people, and we used to make sure people that came into this country were worth having in this country. We don't make such an attempt any longer. And what really irks me is you don't see the Republican Party pushing for enhanced and comprehensive background checks, not just for Muslims, but for all people coming into the country. And you don't see this anywhere else in the Western world either. You see countries in Europe that have been turned into cesspools by bringing in people that are not the best and brightest. Okay, that's the bottom line, is you're bringing in people that are not the best and brightest. And Islam does lend itself to radicalism, but not all Muslims are radical. And that's the thing that's very important to understand. So what happens is the people of the populations have every reason to be paranoid and every reason to go to feel uneasy by Muslims. For example, how many Muslim attacks do you know of? For example, the Pulse nightclub shooting in Florida. There was an ISIS attack in Philadelphia. There's numerous Islamic attacks on U.S. civilians and military installations. For example, the guy that attacked the Naval Recruitment Center, the Fort Hood shooting. There is every reason, the knife attack again, I think it was the Selena Gomez concert, there is every reason for populations to feel agitated with the influx of Islamic people into the West. However, the problem is that when you see something like this nut job that did what he did in New Zealand, or Dylan Roof, like Dylan Roof rightly found out that black crime and black victimization of whites is outrageously out of proportion, then goes and murders innocent black people in a black church, which is completely out of sync with what would be reasonable, okay? And that's exactly what happened in New Zealand, is this kook goes and he attacks these innocent people that did nothing, okay? And that's not an appropriate reaction. But the thing is, by the politicians filling the Western countries with Muslims and not being able to, oh, I forgot to bring up the San Bernardino thing, that's another one, of a Muslim attack, a husband and wife Muslim attack on innocent people in California. What you need to understand is this leads to the agitation. It's a distraction in a way, if you want my opinion, because it keeps people at looking at Muslims instead of what's really going on in the country. And you have to understand, too, these wealthy elites that live in their ivory towers that bring these people into these countries. For example, you have an influx of background checked it. You know, they're not checking the backgrounds of all the Latin Americans they're bringing in. Okay, they're not checking the backgrounds of all the Africans, everybody. Because what that does is it creates a system of chaos. And when there's a system of chaos, nobody unifies with each other. Like I brought up, people like Ilhan Omar, David Duke, Jared Taylor, all these people should be working together for the benefit of the United States. They have similar ideas, Cynthia McKinney, but they're not working together. And why aren't they working together? Because a state of chaos has been cultivated by the elites. And that's all for this video. I am going to leave a link to Mussolini's book to prove fascism would not condone such behavior. And I'm also going to leave a link to Barack Obama explaining the confusion of you don't know who's who anymore because of the way that there's, well, he didn't say because there's no screening, but it's the truth. You don't know if somebody's a taxi driver or a terrorist because of the way that we do not screen the people coming into our countries in the West.